Hi, this is Laura Tucker with Really Entertainment News. Donald Trump said he'd like to hit some of the speakers at the Democratic National Convention this week. Really? After apparently listening to some of the speakers, he said he wanted to, quote, hit a number of those speakers so hard their heads would spin, end quote. He also noted they'd never recover. Sorry, Donald, not everyone can score Scott Baio for their convention. But really, in the face of all the violence we are dealing with between races and law enforcement and a growing problem with bullying, do we really need a leader of this country who endorses violence when people don't agree with him? To counter that, Gwen Stefani brought a young bullied fan on stage with her. Really? His mother held up a sign that read, "My son was bullied from the 1st to the 5th grade." The sign also explained that he'd come home from school upset and listen to Gwen's music and it would make him smile. The boy then came up on stage and hugged Gwen. She wrote on Instagram that 3 years ago, when things were hard in her life, she prayed to God that she would get a chance to use her gift from God to make a difference some way in this world. And she realized that little guy was the answer to her prayers. And she stayed out of the shade Debra Messing was throwing at her when she wanted Gwen to talk to her boyfriend Blake Shelton about him supporting Trump. But he's explained he's not endorsing him and is remaining neutral in this election. That kind of takes the whole story full circle. And another celeb doing something kind for a child is Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec. He has offered to buy a new prosthetic leg for the 4-year-old who had his stolen. Really? Liam Brennis was born without a fibula and had his leg then amputated below the knee. He was at the beach for the very first time and left his leg on the beach. And someone stole it. What are you going to do with that? I mean, really. But after learning about the story, Herjavec contacted them and offered to buy him a new one, as he wants to give him the, quote, opportunity to make him grow up in an environment where he thinks there are some good people in the world, end quote. He's also getting him a VIP tour of Disney. Shark? I think not. That's a really cool guy. Maybe he can also help Ryan O'Neal's son, Griffin. He had his problems in the past with addiction, but appears to now be done with it. He says last year his whole family has been destroyed by drug addiction and alcoholism, and that he had to walk away from it all. He hasn't seen his dad since 2007 when they had a fight. However, his 10-year-old Chihuahua, Chili, jumped off the bed and broke his leg. He needs surgery, but Griffin can't afford the $2,000. Really? So he's asking for help from people and has already received $1,400. I'm just not even sure where I stand on this issue about him asking for it, but I do feel really, really bad for Chili.